Hi, everyone. So, welcome to our next episode. And I'm with Anant Singh Bhatia. He's been a student I'm connecting with after 1 year of his stay at Hong Kong University, Hong Kong as in HKUST, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. Is that correct? And
Yeah.
how are you? And what's been that feeling of being back after like a year? Yeah, and what that experience was. What did you go thinking into HKUST, and what did you learn in this 1 year?
So I'm fine. I'm great. And while going to HKUST last year, like how you might know, Hong Kong was like the last of my choice. I got waitlisted from I think everywhere in the US. I only had two options, which I didn't want to go, and we eliminated UK right off the bat. So like Hong Kong was my like backup last choice going there. So like initially, I will admit I wasn't that excited. I was like I really don't want to go. But then actually going there and living in Hong Kong, getting to meet new people and living in the university, I actually realized that it's not that bad, and actually it's quite good. A lot of opportunities. It's the financial hub of Asia, and it's like pretty undermined, I would say, and it should be a more popular place in terms of students choosing to go there. Like I think they should promote themselves more.
Fantastic. So typically, when students get to a university, there's moving in orientation. What kind of support did you get from the seniors as well as the faculty and admin for
So
that?
in terms of moving in, it's pretty smooth. So the first 2 years, you're guaranteed, for international students, you're guaranteed housing on HKUST. So like you'll be living on campus, and seniors are easy to connect to. You can reach them via LinkedIn or Instagram, or if you have any mutual connections, and they're pretty helpful.
Fine. So, is there like sign up for classes, finish certain formalities, get your bank account, your SIM, all of that was seamless, or was it like something you had to plan and give extra time and attention to?
Yeah, everything was fairly smoothless. Like even in terms of applying for classes and everything, there's a whole portal, and the university assigns a senior student known as a mentor to the new student so that they can kind of guide them in terms of everything, help them show the campus, help them get to know the basics in terms of applying classes, where is what, and stuff like that. And yeah.
And when it comes to choosing classes, is it like the US system where you have multiple options for even your introduction classes? You can also figure out if you've placed out of certain classes based on your high school coursework. So,
Yeah,
what?
exactly. It's exactly the same. And so for example, for me, I did IB, and I've gotten a good amount of transfer credits. It's basically 1.5 SEM, so I can graduate 1.5 SEMs early. So IB gives you a good amount of transfer credits, and it's exactly like the US, the application system. You can apply to different classes. You can see which professors teaching which, different timings, different sections, and obviously there's a certain pathway you have to follow, and basically besides that pathway you can take up additional classes or anything you like. And yeah.
Okay, so these electives or additional classes, you have many to choose from besides your core curriculum for your major.
Yeah, a lot of them, they're basically classes for anything you would want to take, a lot of them.
Oh, okay, awesome. So even a business program or even literature, writing, whatever else you want to do,
Yeah.
they're all available. And is there flexibility? Like if a student wants to drop out of computer science and do something else, it's easy or
So dropping out is easy, but then switching to another major after dropping out is the hard part, because then that has certain GPA requirements and certain extracurricular requirements which you would have to meet. So that's, I mean, if you're smart and you can meet that and you're fairly confident, then dropping that is fine, and switching to a different major is easy. But it's just about meeting that GPA requirement. Otherwise, the dropping and switching part in terms of the technicalities and the handlement is easy.
got it. So just meeting the requirements to graduate in that class will require more work.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
Awesome. So, what about the computer science program? If you compare HKUST with, say, regional top ranked universities within the country, HKU as well, and even in, say, China, since there are so many students from China or from with NTU and US, or even maybe a few in Australia.
Yeah.
What do you hear? You might not be the expert to figure out which one is best, but do you think they're all very similar, their coursework and requirements?
I think definitely. I think Australia is a bit more free, and they usually have a 3-year program instead of a 4-year program, like in the Hong Kong or in Singapore with NUS, NTU, and HKUST and HKU. But I think that UST is basically on par with NTU and NUS. Like the opportunities I get, the different companies coming to campus, and the different competitions being held. A lot of them are actually in collaboration with NUS and NTU as well. Like recently, we had a hackathon collaboratively being hosted by HKUST and NUS. So there are multiple opportunities there, and I think yeah, that's it.
Okay, so when you say there are these connections with employers, these competitions, hackathons, even projects that uh, real case studies, right? Companies offer you a chance to sort of do work. And uh, where do you get all that information? Is there a career center or within the computer science building? Or just online, they just send you the information.
So we basically get a newsletter online every week. So there's information in that, and besides that, there's a whole other building and a whole website for the Career Center for HKUST, and they constantly keep updating opportunities there and anything that's going to happen. And once in a month, or I think once in every 2 months, we have a career fair happening that lasts for roughly 4 days. And in those 4 days, we have different kinds of companies, startups to big MNCs and big M3s, like for example, Morgan Stanley, to startups some of us would have never heard, all kinds of companies coming and basically handing out pamphlets and giving out information, giving out webinars and actual physical conferences, basically telling what you need on your resume and having an open application there as well.
Oh, fantastic. So, how do you uh, know that this one is right for you? How did you sample different conferences or competitions, and how have you come to realize what you perhaps are good at, and within computer science, this is something that you might want to do more?
So I think first year entering a new uni, a new country, that's kind of like an enjoying process for everyone, and it's something everybody discovers on their own in their own manner. So for me, it was just experimenting and doing everything that I could, trying everything, and in the end, what sticks sticks, right? So like I found few things I was good at, and then I kept focusing my energy towards that part of computer science more, and then basically finding competitions for that particular part, reaching out to seniors and seeing what's there to offer in Hong Kong and generally even outside the uni. So I think that's just an experimental process and it's a very adventurous journey every student takes and it's quite fun.
Right. So, when you look at your interests in computer science, what are the courses you've taken which really helped expand your knowledge base and give you a nudge towards what is in store in the future for you, or in general for the computer science careers in computer science that people want to build out?
Yeah. So in terms of courses, I recently did an AI course, and initially I was a bit iffy about picking it up, but then I really enjoyed taking it. It actually, except of coding, it actually got me into the specifics and foundation of AI, that how the different um, coding algorithms that we're actually using, how they're formed, and what's the actual math behind it, and what's the actual logic behind it. Since coding is more or less becoming obsolete, and you only need to understand the logic behind doing it, since you can basically code through multiple AI agents. So I think that even given our current situation and current generation, that course was quite relevant and quite good as it gave me actual information about where to use what and actually understanding the code instead of just mugging it up.
Sure. So when you look at AI, what is what is taught really? Like, do you learn the basics and then build up, or you jump straight into vibe coding and agentic AI?
I mean, obviously, like I'm just a first year student. I just finished my first year, so most of the courses I've done are intro courses. So, for example, for this AI course, they were just teaching us what kinds of different AI algorithms are, what regression model training is, what machine models are, and basically ML and everything like that. Getting more, it was more towards the math side a bit. I must add the course. So basically, giving the logical reasoning and the mathematical logical part about it. So that was more about it.
Okay, so when you say I'm only a first year student and doing all this, it sounds really nice. But what's in store in the future? What kind of courses would you do to graduate, or even to graduate as a computer science student? You have various pathways, like seniors who choose this over that.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, I've been in contact with multiple seniors as well regarding changing my major or adding additional major, multiple things like that. Because obviously, entering in first year, there are multiple opportunities which you only realize once you only enter the uni. Like, they obviously existed even before you entered, but you only find them intriguing or interesting only once you enter the uni. So that was the case with me also. So I wanted to get an additional major, and then after consulting with the seniors, I realized that even with computer science, I can take additional courses, basically gain the same knowledge, and I don't actually need to take an additional major on paper. So these are things you realize when you enter the uni, and HKUST is quite flexible on this. As I previously mentioned, they even offer you a mentor program and they assign you a senior. So you constantly have someone to ask questions from. Constantly, there's someone to guide you.
So which additional courses do you wanted to take, like more business entrepreneurship oriented or something else?
Yeah, so for me, I wanted to go to the quant side. So like already had computer science. So to become a bit more quantitative, I wanted to take there's a good course in UST called QFin or quantitative finance. So I wanted to basically add that as an additional major, but obviously that adds a strong amount of workload as well, since Hong Kong is already a very, I must say, like relative to the US and Australia, it's very academic heavy and more GPA focused, I think, just like Singapore.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, adding another major and adding more to my workload didn't seem that sensible to me. Although I can still do it in the future if I decide to. So that's great.
Mhm. Sure. One last thing about culture of the place and things that you do on campus, around campus. How far is the city? Do you wish to commute, or everything's just in your neighborhood? Yeah, stuff like that. Quality of life in general.
So the quality of life is great. I mean, Hong Kong is pretty expensive, I must add. It's like I think it's basically one of the most expensive cities to live in right now, even more expensive than New York. So it's pretty expensive. Real estate's pretty expensive. Food is pretty expensive. Especially cabs are pretty expensive. So you'll be using public transport most of the time there. Uh, but in terms of the campus, like for UST, location is like at the edge or complete edge of the island. So it's a bit far from the main city, from all the party places and all the main hangout places and everything else. So that's basically like 1 hour by public transport or like 30 to 40 minutes by a cab. So Hong Kong is a small city in itself. So you could basically, but going by cab, you maybe an hour and you could get from one part of the place to another part, like covering the complete island. But it's a pretty nice city, and you've got basically everything. The HKUST campus is itself pretty nice. It's based on a beach, and the people you meet are really nice. I haven't personally faced any racism there, and neither my friends. So it's nice in terms of that. Also, people are welcoming and people are nice. And yeah, I think that's it. And there's everything in Hong Kong for everyone. If you want to party, there's something. If you study, I mean, you have to study if you're going to Hong Kong. And except of that, there's multiple hills, hiking, if you like beaches. So there's something there for everybody.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Anant. This has been a start of maybe a few more conversations over the course of your time at HKUST, and I'm sure there'll be more